Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Unconventional Outdoorsman. By the title of this video, you know exactly what we're going to get into today. But before we do that, do me a huge favor. If you have not subscribed, please do that. Be a huge favor towards me. Also, click the notification bell to all notifications, and that way you know every time I post a video here on the channel. So, what we're going over today is this German 8mm Mauser. This was produced, well, this model of rifle was produced from 1898 all the way through the end of World War II, and even it saw service after in different countries, whoever bought them after they were sold off after the war. So let's get into the cartridge a little bit. I will set this down on the table, and 8mm Mauser, I've got a box of it here. It is very expensive ammo. I have to source it from a guy in Kentucky because most places around here don't carry it. So obviously, it feeds into, this is compact storage stripper clips, which I will show you how to load those in a minute, which I'm not actually going to load them, but you get the idea. 8mm Mauser. So this is a gigantic round. Those of you who know a 30-06, this is actually a bigger cartridge than a 30-06. So it's a behemoth of a round. A lot of kick. I have test fired this rifle with it, and it definitely puts some power down range. So I will open the bolt for y'all. It is unloaded, nothing in. And this is how, for example, if you were in the battle or whatever, in the battlefield, and you take it, you would put the lips of this onto this little notch here. Set it down like that, and you would push the rounds into the internal magazine. And once you do that, you could literally just close it, and the stripper clip would fall on the ground. Obviously, I hold on to these stripper clips because they're like $1.50 a piece for that little tiny piece of metal, because nobody really carries Mauser 98 parts anymore. So let me give you some history about this rifle real quick. This is obviously an 8mm, like I said. It was produced in the Mauser factory in Germany in the early to mid 30s. I couldn't get an exact year on this because after the war ended, or right around the time World War II ended, the Nazis obviously burned down the Mauser factory, so they couldn't get any history on it or any weapon designs that they were working on. So anywhere from like 1929 to 1935 is when this was produced. It saw service in World War II. I know that much. It was either captured or sold to the Turks in 1943. It does have a, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a Turkish stamp on there, and it says 1943. But this was produced in Germany. A lot of that happened during World War I, for example. If they went down to fight in the Ottoman Empire, it would be captured by them or whatever. A lot of them were sold to the Turks, too, because they used this rifle quite a bit during both World Wars. So, the specs of the rifle, it's got some very good riflings. The guy who sold it to me at a pawn shop wanted $250 for an old German Mauser. To put this into perspective, a normal Remington 870 shotgun, 12 gauge, is around $400. You can't find a Mosin Nagant for under $350 anywhere close to where I live. So to be able to find a piece of history such as this in great condition, I mean, there's no pitting, no rust inside the barrel or the chamber. There's one little speck of rust right about here. But for $250, I was like, I thought I was having a dream, man. So I went up, I had like $300 on me, and I said, I'll buy it right now. I hadn't even held it in my arms yet. And he said, you have any help? I said, I know. Can I please buy it? And he said, sure. So I filled out the 4473. It went through, and 15 minutes later, I walked out with this firearm. The reason I haven't made this video, I bought it about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. The reason why, I had to source ammo for it. I think I found 20 rounds in St. Louis. I had to drive all the way down to St. Louis, and I paid an arm and a leg for them. But I bought those, and I bought another 60 rounds from Kentucky. I had to get them shipped in and all that. Those of you who have ever shipped ammunition know it's extremely expensive. But it does have a basic, sling hooks here and here. I want to get a better sling. This is just a basic fabric E-roll camel sling, nothing too fancy. I probably need to readjust it before it falls off of there. But straight bolt handle, which means it was produced probably at least 5 years before World War II, because that's when they started doing the curved bolt handle, as most people know, even though they used a lot of the straight bolts in World War II. It's got the roller coaster sights that go up to 2,000 meters for your elevation and windage. Most times, with iron sights like this, you're probably not going to be shooting anything past 3. A lot of people, this is the longer model, obviously. It's a 20, I think it's a 28 or 30-inch barrel, not too sure. But the reason they went to a shorter one, and like the Car 98Ks, like the modern ones, not modern, but the ones that were used specifically in the Second World War, is because they found that the combat engagements weren't at 500 and 600 meters. They were up close. They were close quarters battles. So obviously they went to a shorter design. But 8mm is a prolific round. I don't know if I said this, but it was served, I think the 8mm was derived in 1888, one of the first modern smokeless powder cartridges, and served all the way until like the 50s in different countries all around Europe and Africa. It was chambered in rifles like this, bolt action, semi-automatics, machine guns, you name it, Germany used it. It obviously was issued to all their conquered lands, you know, Austria, Czechoslovakia, you name it, they had it. So I will show you how to take the bolt out real quick. So okay, let me close it actually. This is the fire position on the handle. You put it up to disassemble it, and this is safety over here. So like I think I did say it's clear. So you pull the extractor out, and you just slide this baby out. That way you can get an in-depth cleaning into the receiver here. I will say this is kind of an annoyance to clean. I put 5 rounds through it yesterday because obviously it's like $2 a round almost with shipping. So it was a hell of a thing to clean. Very dirty, but after like an hour and a half of cleaning, it was finally good. And I want to keep this thing in impeccable condition because I don't want this thing to rust up on me, because that would be a damn shame. So you can see the bolt. This bolt design here, and the way it fits into the receiver is what most modern rifles were designed off of. Modern bolt action rifles, I would say. The Springfield 03, we captured a few of these, or we bought a few of them, and we derived that off of them. The Remington 700, the bolt design is made off of this. Tons of different, most, I'd say, you know, bolt actions from like 1945 to 1980, those designs that are derived from there are from the German Mauser, along with others, obviously. But it's a very popular design. I'll show you why. It's extremely simple compared to most other bolt actions like the Arisaka and other, you know, bolt actions that saw service. So I'm gonna put it on safety. Well, I guess I gotta put it on fire. It's extremely smooth, and you know, they've done videos on this where you put like a Mosin side by side, and you know, fire, and obviously I'm a lefty, so it wouldn't be as fast, but just you fire and you can rack that back so fast. And the way the extractor moves, it twists the bullet in this, or this cartridge rather, and pulls it out. It is just so efficient and so smooth. The Germans, any German gun, whether it be a rifle, machine gun, SMG, pistol, they have done extremely well. They put extreme quality into their work, which is one very good thing about German firearms. H&K, Walther, let me think of other brands. I'm blanking right now, but extremely good rifle. This one is extremely good condition. The walnut stock, I'll see if it'll focus on there, but it is kind of beat up, and it's only, you can only imagine what kind of action this saw from the time it was made in the Mauser factory to the time it was decommissioned, after whenever that was. Let's see, I think there's something on the barrel that tells me when it was brought to the US. Okay. So it says here, PV Arms, Redmond, Washington. That's where the port of entry it came in. We're shipped to. It's an M38, so it's a Mauser. 1938 looks like when it was built, so right before the war. Obviously, the Third Reich was expanding. They needed more rifles. 8mm Mauser. I will say, if you can find one of these, even for under $600, if you have the extra money and you're into cool World War II firearms, I would pull the trigger on it. Yeah, dad jokes. I'm terrible. But yeah. It's an extremely good design. It's just a piece of history. Now, this isn't a rifle I'm gonna take out every single weekend and go shooting, because obviously I would be bankrupt. This right here is like including this triple clip, that's like $15, $20. A lot of money. And I thought shooting my 6.5 was expensive. But if you want a piece of history, if you want something that is an amazing piece of engineering, and is an amazing design, saw service, and is a prolific firearm. If you see any World War II movie, Saving Private Ryan, Fury, any of those, you're going to see this rifle. I mean, everybody knows what it is. If you say an old German Mauser, either people are going to think of the C96 Mauser pistol, which obviously I don't have one because I'm poor, but I think of this too. So it's just an amazing design. And a lot of these were stamped like that for whatever reason. I don't know. If you know what this is for, leave a comment down below. But something too, obviously it's clear. I'm going to show you how smooth the trigger is on this. It's an old gun, but if I were to just line up and... It's such a smooth trigger. It's got a nice clean break. It's about a... I don't know. Let me see. I would say it's about a 4.5 to 5 pound trigger, so just the perfect weight. And the best way to shoot rifles like this is, you aim down, you start slowly squeezing, and you let it surprise you. That is the best way to shoot these rifles. But yeah, it's an amazing firearm. Like I said, I'm just repeating myself here, but if you guys want to see more videos with this, I'm definitely going to make a couple range videos with that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do me a huge favor if you're still watching and click that subscribe button, and I will see you all tomorrow.